Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today we're going to be doing a radial design snow crystal, and we're going to be inspired by some real snow crystals here, and also some photographs from a friend from North Carolina. I'll show you some pictures of trees covered with snow. When you see or actually look at snow up close, this is what you'll actually see. You actually see a beautiful radial design. And this you can see with your eyes. If you take your mitten, if a snowflake lands on your mitten, you can bring it up close to your eye, and this is the beautiful crystal patterns that you will see. And that's what's going to inspire our art lesson today, our radial design, line design. And we're going to be using cool colors. So for the cool colors, we can use values of blues and purples. Now green is a cool color too, but we want it to be a cool color that reflects colors that we see in natural snow. And the natural snow, the shadows in natural snow oftentimes are the blue values. So if we stick with lots of values of blue and a little bits of purple accent, it'll look more like a realistic snow crystal. The first thing we want to do to make our snowflake is we're going to be taking an 8.5 by 11 paper, and you can use any size paper just so long as you start with a square. So for us, we have these copy paper here, and what we're going to do is we're going to make it into a square. So the easiest way to do that is to fold the shortest side here, bring it to the edge of the longest side, and make sure your point down here is evened and has a nice triangle shape to it, and then bring this together and fold it. And then any of the extra you just want to cut off. That's how you can easily make a square out of a rectangular piece. And if you already have a square, then don't worry, you can start the lesson without making a square first. Once we have our square, then we're going to fold our paper in half, like so. So it looks like a long rectangle. And then we're going to go ahead and fold the short end of the bottom up to the top. And then we're going to open this up. In the very middle of our page, we're going to go ahead and put a dot. So this will be the start of the snowflake. And just like in the cloud, when the snowflake is inside a cloud, the winds are spinning. And here's our dot that's inside the cloud. And so the winds are spinning that molecule of water vapor. And when the cloud is cold enough, it freezes. And as that molecule of water vapor spins in the cloud, it's picking up other molecules of water vapor, and it ends up sticking to the original. And it forms these branches or these arms coming out from the center design. And that's what forms our patterns. It's just many molecules of water vapor that stuck to the original molecule, and it spins in the cloud. And once these flakes get big enough, they fall to the earth. And when they hit your hand, they'll melt because of your hand is more warm. But if you have a mitten or glove on or jacket, when it lands on your jacket, you can actually look close and actually see the pattern of the snow crystal right on your hand. Now these are actual photographs that are of snow crystals here. And this source comes from The Art of a Snowflake, and it's a photographic album, Voyager Press, 2007. So that's where I got these pictures from. But they form amazing patterns, and there's no two snowflakes that are alike. So we're going to find the top of our paper, and we're going to jump down About 2 inches will jump down. So a little bit wider than 2 fingers down. And on the edge, I'm just going to put a dot right here. So from our corner, jump down, and look, if I take my fingers and line them up, I have my fingers lined up horizontal against the top edge of my page, and then in front, below these fingers, once they're lined up, once your fingers are lined up horizontal, go below your finger and put a dot. I'm going to do the same on each corner. Put a dot, and then I'm going to do the same at the bottom of the page. So I'm just flipping it over. Lay my fingers horizontal to the edge of the page, come to the edge of my paper, and put a dot, and do the same on this side. So I've measured down 2 fingers width on the top and bottom as well. And it's approximate. You don't have to have it, exact. It can be off a little bit. So we want to we're going to end up keeping this line. So this will be one of our rays of our snowflake, or our arms of our snowflake. And snowflakes have 6 sides. So what we've just done is divided this paper here. So I'm going to come to the top center now, and I'm going to drop down 2 fingers as well. My fingers are lined up horizontal, drop down with a dot. And this is on the fold line, my exact fold line. I'm going to do the same on the bottom. Come up 2 fingers, put a dot on my fold line. So now we have all our guided dots, our guided dot lines. As long as these are the same, that's what you want to make sure they're the same coming around. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to come to the center line, and I'm just going to come out, and from this dot, I'm going to start a line, and I'm not going to go all the way. From this dot, I'm going to be taking and drawing a line. Now watch me first. It's going to come straight out toward this corner. So watch what's going to happen. This is going to be, I'll use this as a marker, a guideline. This is where it's going to go toward. See? But I'm not going all this way. I'm just going to start my design coming out, but I'm heading in that direction. So if you come out with a short line, heading in this direction. We'll make our first part of the snowflake. We're going to make the center of the snowflake first. So we're just going partial out. See the center design? And then I'm going to do the same up this way. I'm coming up, down. Now I'm going to do the same for this line. So I'm not on my fold. I'm heading to the other dot that's at the bottom here. See the bottom edge? I'm going to do the same. It's going to be coming down like that. Head toward that line. Kind of looks like a K. Now I'm going to do the same to this dot. Draw the line toward the dot. And I'm going to do the same on this line. Draw the line toward the dot. So it should look like a line that comes down straight and an X. And these are approximate. Now we're going to design the snowflake. So I'm going to come, for this part of the design, I'm coming down and back to the snowflake. Here, I'm going to come up, just a little line up, back to the snowflake. I'm going to do the same on this side. Down, back to the snowflake. Up, back to the snowflake. And here I'm going to do a small T and a small T. And I'm bringing both lines back to the snowflake. This is just a generic pattern that I started you off with today. But when you make these again, if you do them on your own, this shape could be any shape you want. Now we can just color in these little designs. This is just the beginnings. This would be the very beginnings of the molecules attaching themselves to the center molecule. Now from here, once you have your snowflake in the 6 arms, because there's 6 sides to the snowflake, it radiates out with the same 6 patterns. Now sometimes as the snowflake melts, like in this one, it starts melting different ways and forming little bits of different designs here. You can see the center is very symmetrical. Now, from here, you're going to design your own snowflake. You're going to come up, and whenever you branch from here, if you want to get taller, just go toward the circle here at the top. So this is going to branch this way. This will branch this way. So for example, if you're going to add here, this one almost looks like a floral crystal. You can change your shape, how you want the centers to be. These have thicker branches coming out. You can add circles to them. And if you work up cool colors, different values of blue, different values of purple, you could even just do a line design as you add your shapes. And when you add a shape, now you don't have to copy me what I'm doing here, I'm just going to show you as an example. But when you add your shape, you have to do it the same on each branch as you go around. So maybe I want to add a smaller molecule in the center here. And then maybe I want to do a longer, narrow triangle. So then I continue this way, long, narrow, again, going toward the edge of my page. So if I add a triangle, and if you just stick with simple shapes, and sometimes it helps if you turn your paper too, to face your direction. And then build off of it. You can have branches coming out, but what you add on one, so if I add this type of a branch, I've got to add it the same as I go around. That's what forms the radial design. And when you do this, take your time and go neatly. What we want to form is an intricate, detailed snow crystal. So take your time and create your pattern. And again, it's up to you, and you can continue as you go along. And build it. And I like to do it one pattern at a time, and then do it on the same arms as I go around. And you can just continue. I'm going to put another circle at the top here. And keep them the same. And then we can add more line and pattern inside. So that's up to you. But this is how I build it. Just a little bits at a time, going slow and careful, like so. And then I think I'm going to color in these. And I will show you what mine look like when we're done, and I'll show you what my students have come up with.